What's going on, fellas? Now today we're going to be reacting to how greed and bad decisions massacred the Texas Chainsaw game. Now full credits goes to Kovo Carver, the creator of this video. I'm going to leave a link in the description. Make sure you guys go drop a thumbs up on it after this. Yeah, full credits to him obviously. However, the Texas Chainsaw game, my favourite game in recent years. I posted a video a couple days ago of just some of my favourite highlights from my old channel on this game, and yeah, we've got to get into it.
It's August 2023. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre game launches, and it is electric. The atmosphere was suffocating, the sound design a masterclass in tension, and the terrifyingly faithful adaptation of the 1974 classic felt like a dream come true. For a hot minute,
I didn't actually play this game on launch.
The horror genre had a new titan. Players were hooked on the brutal, authentic cat and mouse game in the sun-bleached hellscape of rural Texas.
I played a few months later,
but that promise,
the first time.
It was broken. Excitement curdled into frustration. The player base, once buzzing with thousands of fans, started to hemorrhage. On platforms like Steam, the player count plummeted, losing what some estimated to be over 90% of its initial audience.
Damn.
Hope turned into bitter disappointment. So, what went wrong? How did a game with such a killer launch, a beloved IP, and an innovative 4v3 gameplay loop fumble the ball so catastrophically? This is the story of how greed, a string of truly baffling decisions, and a fundamental misunderstanding of its own community choked the life out of what could have been a horror classic.
The honeymoon phase, a glimmer of hope.
Let's be crystal clear. At launch, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was special. Gun Interactive and developers at Sumo Digital had somehow captured lightning in a bottle. Critics were raving about its oppressive atmosphere and its shockingly faithful recreation of the source material. It wasn't just a game about a Texas chainsaw skin, it felt like you were in the movie.
Yeah.
That unique 4v3 asymmetrical mechanic was a breath of fresh air.
Especially Family House, bro.
From both victims and family that was genuinely engaging. The core gameplay was just addictive. The frantic search for tools as a victim, the heart-pounding terror of hearing that chainsaw rev nearby, the strategic coordination of the family setting traps, it all just worked. The community was buzzing. We had something that felt like a true competitor in the space, a game built on pure, uncut horror. Even with some launch day jank and a few balance quirks, the foundation was rock solid. There was an army of players ready to support the game for the long haul. We were all in. The potential for greatness was undeniable. But potential doesn't keep the servers running, and as we'd all soon find out, the roadmap to the future was built on a sinkhole.
The beginning of the end. TCM's...
The first and most glaring red flag was
Wait, what did they actually say? TCM stuck in the basement. Oh, yeah.
The first and most glaring red flag was the content desert. The game launched with only 3 maps. 3. For a multiplayer game that relies on replayability, this was a shockingly small amount of content. Players quickly memorized every escape route, item spawn, and hiding spot. Matches started to feel repetitive, less about skill and more about just running through the motions. This scarcity immediately raised concerns about the game's long-term health. On top of that, there were 0 offline modes, no bot matches to practice, no single-player challenges, nothing. This meant new players were tossed right into the deep end, a high-stress environment where one mistake could cost their team the game. It was a brutal way to learn, and a huge mistake for a game trying to grow its audience. The lobby experience itself became a nightmare, with players reporting insane wait times, sometimes 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, I know about that one. I know about that one.
Players were dodging lobbies, a problem made worse by the game's own design. Then came the monetization. Just as the community was begging for new maps and core content, the developers announced their DLC pricing strategy, and it felt like a gut punch. While the new maps would be free, the prices for everything else were staggering.
By the way, that's USD. In New Zealand, the Nicotero Leatherface, that costed money. Well, I think it was like $26, $28, $30 for me. And I'm an idiot and actually bought it, because like, you know, it's a sick skin, but far out, man. $30. Unbelievable.
In one infamous example, a cosmetic skin for Leatherface was dropped for $16, nearly half the price of the entire base game. New characters were priced at $10 each, and even new kill animations were sold for $7. The message this sent was toxic. It felt like the focus wasn't on building a healthy game, but on squeezing every last penny from the dedicated players who were left. When the community balked at the prices, the official response felt dismissive, with the general sentiment from the publisher boiling down to, if you don't like the price, don't buy it. This, to many, was a slap in the face, and it pushed even more people away. This downward spiral got worse in early 2024. News broke that the original developer, Sumo Digital, specifically the Sumo Nottingham studio, was being swapped out for Black Tower Studios. Now, the publisher, Gun Interactive, told players that this was nothing to be scared of, but changing developers midstream is rarely a sign that the project is healthy. Players felt their feedback on critical issues like game-breaking bugs and severe balance problems were being ignored. It felt like old mistakes were being repeated. Players were furious about issues like stun locking, where a family member could be stunned over and over with no way to fight back.
Yep.
It was a problem
as a family man, I felt that one.
Big horror game, Friday the 13th, so seeing it pop up again here was just baffling. Patches took forever to come out, and sometimes they would break things that had previously been fixed. This created a huge rift between the creators and the community they desperately needed to keep the game alive. Every buggy patch and tone-deaf comment just eroded trust even further.
The final massacre, chapter 3.
For months, the dwindling community held on to a sliver of hope. Hope for more maps, for better balancing, for a sign that developers were committed to turning the ship around. That hope was extinguished in May 2025. In an official announcement, Gun Interactive declared that Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be receiving no further content. No more DLC, no more balance updates, and no more bug fixes after one last patch. Their reason? The team felt that the game had been quote-unquote fully realized and had reached its natural creative end. For the players who stuck it out through the content drought, the pricey DLC, and the frustrating bugs, this explanation was just insulting.
Yep.
The game didn't feel fully realized, it felt abandoned. It was a project brimming with potential, stuck with licensing for only the first film, and ultimately unplugged by its very own publisher.
Now this is facts, because I remember seeing those modders and stuff, they created so much good content, and the thing is, they couldn't actually do anything, because Texas, they just banned everything to do with it. But there was actually good skins made by just fans and stuff, and the fans actually did much more for the game than fucking the actual devs did at this point. And there's so much good ideas coming around from, the fan base, and it's just not even was once acknowledged by the company. And that's what kills the game. They say, oh, we realized the fucking end of the game and is here and stuff, but bro, you just never listen to people. You think your decision's the only right one.
It confirmed that while the game would stay playable and not be delisted, it would eventually be moved to peer-to-peer matchmaking, a clear sign that they were done paying for dedicated servers. The news was the final, definitive nail in the coffin. It was an admission that the journey was over. The passionate project that had started with so much promise was being put out to pasture less than 2 years after its celebrated launch. That's just the story that the facts tell. I really want to know what you guys think. Were you there on day one fighting for your life in the Slaughter family's backyard? What was the moment you knew it was over?
I wasn't, but I think some of my favourite moments was, well, not favourite, frustrating, but just hilarious was the 1 year anniversary. How broken that game was for a week, bro. That video is still up on my old C2 channel, and I was watching it the other day when I made that highlight montage. I'm like, bloody hell, the state of it. But even though I started the game 3-4 months late after it released, I still got 1,000 hours on it, which isn't exactly 1,000 hours. Half of those hours are just waiting in the lobby or menu screen, but I still have a good 500 of actual game time. I haven't played the game 10 months because I knew the game was finished. After they just refused to keep releasing content, and the only content they would end up releasing was just overpriced skins, I'm like, yeah, nah, it's raps. It's raps, chat.
Or in the comments below. And if you appreciate the deep dives into the life and death of games like this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button.
You heard him. Subscribe to the man. I think his name's Kovo Carver.
I'm still very new to the scene, and the motivation that I get from every individual subscriber and the views and the likes is still insane to me.
Yeah, check him out, boys. So check me out. Not like that! Just, subscribe if you enjoyed this. If you enjoy the content. I'm around a lot of horror games on this channel and other stuff.
It was a bad game. It was a failure because it was a badly managed one.
It was horribly managed.
It launched with a content deficit it just couldn't recover from. It prioritized aggressive monetization over building a healthy ecosystem, which is a problem we see reoccurring throughout the industry. And it failed to maintain the trust and goodwill of its most valuable asset, which is the players. The story of TCM is a cautionary tale. It's a story of squandered potential, a brilliant horror concept bled dry by 1,000 tiny cuts of greed and indifference. The game will remain as a digital ghost town, reminding us of what could have been. The iconic rev of the chainsaw won't be silenced by a server shutdown, but by the quiet exit of the last player who finally gives up hope.
Yep. And hey man, like, this game literally had it, bro. The perk system was cool. I like the perks. It had really nice graphics as well. Beautiful, beautiful graphics. Obviously having the characters like Leatherface, Cook, the good looky cookie, Hitchy Poo, bro. It was sick, bro. And all the Easter eggs from the actual movie, but yeah, bro, they cooked it. Rest in peace, TCM. You had hope. You were just made by the wrong people. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, boys, please drop a thumbs up. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to see more, make sure you subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time.